In this video, we'll be doing the 10th program in the lab list which I've shared with you using drawer layout to do some set of operations like images, audio, video, using the camera of the phone, etc. Before I proceed with this program, I just need you to know what is the drawer layout and how the navigation works in that. I'll be doing all these individual components separately and we'll be merging all of them into one activity because I'll be doing all of these as fragments. Now, how do I call these fragments when I want? For that purpose, we'll be using a navigation drawer. So navigation drawer normally provides access to destinations and app functionalities. Like, for example, if you have used Gmail in the phone, you'll understand the Google app has a side drawer in which you can switch your accounts from one account to the other and to give different functionalities based on which account you are logged in. And they can be either permanently on screen or it can be controlled by your navigation menu, which is normally preferred. And normally we use navigation for these things. When your app has 5 or more top level destinations like inbox, like how you have in Gmail, same way. Apps with 2 or more levels of navigation hierarchy, if you have different ways, like for example, we have labels separately in Gmail like that. If you have more than 2 levels of hierarchy, navigation hierarchy. And next one is quick navigation between unrelated destinations. So instead of giving tabs which are not related to each other, we can give a navigation drawer which are not related to each other. That's the idea. This is a navigation drawer which you would have seen in almost all apps nowadays, because when there is a lot of data to be shown, like for example Play Store, Drive, Gmail, etc, etc. So now this is just an anatomy. I'll just tell you what it comprises of, then we'll be doing this. The first thing is the entire thing what you see is not an activity, rather it is laid on top of an activity. So please note the first icon which is shown here, which means it's a container. It's a navigation view. Please note the keyword. That's a keyword I've put in the brackets. It's a navigation view. It is the container of your drawer layout. So whatever you see there is overlaid on top of your actual activity or actual page content, which is at the 8th level. The last one, which is right now grayed out in this corner. That's the actual data. Now inside this navigation view or the drawer layout, you see that the first part which you see is the header, which has your profile picture, your name, your email address, or whatever details you want to keep here. This is not compulsory. It's an optional one. Some apps have it, some apps do not. Doesn't matter. It's entirely up to you. And the divider between that, it's entirely optional. If you want, we can create it. And then you see that this is a set of menus which are given. And when you click on it, it goes to that particular place. So the one which right now you have gone to will be highlighted, and that is the active text. And the active text on top of that, there's a small shade given just to indicate that it is the active text. That's why we call it as overlay. And then the actual text will be a different color than the inactive text. These are all our inactive texts. And what you see here will be called as a subtitle, which means these are all major things. Inside that you have a subtitle, and in that you can again have more menu items. And it goes on like this. This is a simple anatomy of a navigation drawer. Let's just understand the hierarchy in which I'll be creating this project. You have something called as a drawer layout. In that one, you have two things. Number one, the actual content, what you want to display, which can contain a little bit more. I've put the details on the right side. And then you have second one is navigation view. This is what we'll be doing new. The remaining content and all those things are same. We have already done them. It's not a big deal for us, but the navigation view is new for us. In navigation view, you have two sections. One is the header. The other one is the actual menus, what you're going to display. So let's start with this program. In order to do this program, I've created a new project with empty activity. Please note, when you create a new project, you can also choose drawer activity so that it will generate everything what I'm about to do in one shot. But it's not just getting that layout, but working with it will be a little bit complicated if you don't understand the code what is automatically generated. That is the reason why I'm creating this drawer activity or drawer layout from the scratch. If you remember, the navigation menu is divided into two pieces. The first piece is the header. The second piece is the menu. So the first part, what I'm going to do is the menu part. So let's go and create one. Please go to the resources folder and right click on the resources folder and create a new Android resource directory. In that one, search for a resource type called menu. And once you do that, the directory name will also change it to menu. Let's keep it as it is. Click on OK. So a menu folder is created, a resources folder. Right click on that folder and create a new menu resource file. And for this, I'm going to name it as drawer_menu and then click OK. Before adding items to the menu, I would normally recommend you to have an icon associated with every menu item. It's not compulsory, but it's entirely up to you. In this program, I am going to have icons for every item which I'm going to give. So let's first decide what are the menu items which I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep 4 menu items, starting with images. So whatever has to do with images, like taking a picture or displaying already existing one, depends on it. Image, audio, video, similar activities, and one more separate option for sharing. So these 4 things will be there. The first 3 things are grouped as one. The second one is part of another group. So for that purpose, let me create 4 separate icons, and then I'll come back to the design. To create a new icon within our project, you can actually download from the internet and put it here in the drawable, or you can even use the inbuilt icons, the clip arts, what is available to create one icon. I'm going to right click on drawable folder and click on new vector asset. So in that one, you can choose which kind of a clip art you want to create as an image here. So since the first one is all related to images, so I'm going to search for an image icon, and once I've got that, I'm going to rename this vector asset as IC_image, and let it be as it is. I'm going to click on next, and it will create an XML file for me so that it recognizes it as a separate icon in my project. So IC_image, click on finish. Like this, I wanted to do the remaining 3 more drawables, one to have audio, one to have video, the other one to have sharing icon. Let me do that and come back to this quickly. Now that I have 4 icons which are there in my drawable folder, I can easily create menus with those icons. So let's do that now. I'll come back to my menu. In this one, first thing what I'm going to do is make sure that the first 3 options what I gave, image, audio, video, all 3 are part of a group, because I don't want 2 things to be open simultaneously. I want only one at a time. So for that purpose, let me put them inside a group. As soon as you drag and drop a group, please go to its attributes and say checkable behavior to single, which means allows one item to be selected at a time inside that group. So I'm going to choose single there, and inside this I'm going to put a menu item. So let's start with the first menu item. I'm going to drag and drop one menu item. Please note the hierarchy. There is a menu already. In that one, I created a group. Inside the group, I'm putting this menu item. And let's start with the attributes of this. The first attribute I'm going to give is the ID. So I'm going to give it as nav_image. And the title of that, I'm going to keep it as images. The icon, please note I have dragged in or created 4 vector assets here corresponding to each and every icon. So I'm going to choose the IC_image and click on OK, and it is done here. That's how I added one item. Please do the remaining items also the same way. So you have 3 different menu items, images, audio, and videos. Please note that all the items which I have put here I've converted into radio buttons, because you set the group as checkable behavior as single, which means only one item at a time. That's what I want there. And the next thing is sharing, which is not part of this. It's totally unrelated to all these 3. I'm going to create one more subtitle. In other words, another area in that menu for a particular purpose called sharing. So what I'm going to do here is, in this one, I'm going to put another menu item. Please note, I'm putting another menu item inside this menu, not in the group. Let's come out of the group, but inside the menu as one item. And once that is done, I want another menu item to be inside it. A menu item cannot survive without a menu. So first I'm going to do drag and drop of a menu inside that item. And once the menu comes there, I can put one more menu item inside it. After that, please click on the item which you first dragged and dropped and go to its title, and let's name it as communication. Separate subtitle, which will have something else apart from what we have done so far. So in that one, we have another menu. I'm not going to touch the menu, but go to the item inside that menu and let's give an ID. Let's name it as nav_share. For navigation, this is the share item, and the next one is the title. I'm going to just give the word as share. That's it. So please note, it is inside communication. There is one more menu called nav_share. That's all. Now that the menus are ready, let's go to the second part of our navigation view, that is the header layout. For that purpose, let's go to the project, right click on your layout folder and create a new layout resource file. And let's name it as nav_header. Please note, this is just going to be the header file of my navigation view. So now already there is a constraint layout. Let me remove it and just search for linear layout and then click on OK. In the nav underscore header, we have only one linear layout, and inside this I'm going to put three controls. One is image view, below that text view, and below that I'm going to put another text view, so that it's just representation of your profile picture, your name, your email address, or some other data which you want to display. This is what we are going to do. Before we go to those controls, let's first put the important properties of linear layout here. So let me click on linear layout, and it's already orientation is vertical. Let me not change that. Let the width be match parent, but height, let it not be match parent, because I want header only to match the part which is away from the menu. So I'm going to say layout height is wrap content. That is the first thing. And the next thing, just to make sure that this is visible, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give a background color for this linear layout so that you know which part is the linear layout. So let's give a simple color, and once you see the color, you'll understand that is the part of your linear layout. And the next thing what I wanted to give is the gravity. Let's give the gravity towards the bottom of the layout, because I want the controls not to be sticking to the top, to the bottom of, because bottom and then you have menus. That's the idea. So in this one, linear layout is ready. Now let's start dragging and dropping controls into it. The first thing I'm going to put is an image view. So let's just drag and drop an image view. Just for temporary sake, I'm going to give choose the avatars with the inbuilt ones and click on OK, so that you can see how it looks like. The purple color is coming from the layout, not from the image. The image is only this much. And the next thing what I'm going to drag and drop is the text views, one to hold my name, one to hold email address, or some other details, whichever you like. So I've kept three controls here. Now if you see that this is the purple color background is the one which I have as the linear layout. Now let's go to the important properties of each control. I'm going to click on the image view. I'd recommend that you change the icon, what is showing right now, to your own picture, which you can put it in drawable and map it here. Width and height, I'd not recommend you to keep it as match parent. Let's keep it as a fixed size so that it does not look different in each and every person's app. So let me just say 100 dp to 100 dp. You can keep it more if you want, but I'd not recommend more than 150. Let it be as it is. And the linear layout itself, if you see, it says height is wrap content, which also becomes a little bit more not so standardized, because by default, if you create a drawer activity in your Android Studio, it will give a height of 176 dp. So let me just wrap it out to 180 dp so that that height always stays there. That much is there, and inside that you have your controls. And let's also give one more thing for this control. The linear layout is padding. So let's give a padding of at least 15 dp. After giving the padding, let's finish the text views text, because they are just put as a word text view. So let's just change it. The first text view, put your name there. So I'm going to put my name there so that it just represents the name. The second one represents the email address. So let me just put an email address there. So you have some data which is available. Now the next part of this is to go to the main activity, link the header and the menu into one place. So let's do that next. Before we go to the design part of our activity underscore main, there is one more thing which we need to, which we have not seen much, but I wanted to focus on is, please note this is the design. It has one hello world here, and this is the plain design. But when I run, this design would look a little bit different. Let me just run it. After running this project, please see the difference. This is the part which you see in design. You never see this part in the design. There is no toolbar or the action bar available here, but when you run the program, there is an action bar already which has my app's name written there. This comes from the theme which is applied by default in your project. But please note, this is difficult for me to manipulate the drawer layout which I'm going to create. So I'm going to remove the theme created action bar, and I'm going to put my own action bar called as the toolbar. Let's do that now. For that, let's go to resources, look for a folder called values, and inside that a file called styles.xml. Let's open that styles.xml. Now if you see, the parent of that theme is mentioned as dark action bar. Let's remove that and then say no action bar. This is the theme which generated that action bar automatically, but I have said I don't want an action bar. Let's just save this. Let's run the project and see how it looks. I ran the same project only by changing this line, no action bar, and you see the output. This is somewhat exactly the same as what I saw in the design, because I don't have a toolbar in the design. I don't have it here also in the running part. Now let's do it programmatically. Come to the design. Here, there is a text view there. Let me delete that text view. Let me remove that. And let's convert this constraint layout into a drawer layout. So right click on it, convert layout, and let's choose or type it out as drawer layout. Please choose the entire thing. and then click on apply. So you have converted your constraint layout into a drawer layout. Now inside this drawer layout, you're going to keep two controls. One is the host, the content of your actual project. The second one is the navigation view. So to put your contents like toolbar and the fragment and the frame and all those things, I'm going to put one more layout inside it so that it is not much confusing. So let me just choose a layout called linear layout and vertical linear layout. I'll put it inside the drawer layout. Now the second thing what I'm going to add is the navigation view. Let's go to containers, search for something called navigation view and put it inside drawer layout, not inside the linear layout. So you have two controls now. One will hold the content of this page. This will override on top of it and come as a drawer layout. So inside this in this linear layout, I'm going to put two more things. One is the toolbar, which I want to create programmatically. Second one is the the frame layout, which will hold the fragment. Let me choose that. So let's put one toolbar. I'm going to drag and drop a toolbar inside the linear layout. Please make sure it comes inside the linear layout. The second thing is that I want a frame layout. So let's go to layout, drag and drop a frame layout inside linear layout. This is the design which I want you to do. Please note the component tree and make sure that it happens like this. Drawer layout, in that you have linear layout and navigation view, and inside linear layout you have toolbar and frame layout. That's it. Let's change the properties of these controls. First is toolbar. I'm going to leave that ID as toolbar itself because there is no other toolbar, only one. So I'm going to use that as it is. This is what you got as soon as you dragged and dropped. So I'm not going to change any of the properties which is already generated. Let us keep it as it is. The second control which we need to change here is the frame layout. There is a warning because it does not have an ID, it does not have anything inside it. That's why it was throwing a warning. So let's fix that by naming it as fragment underscore container, because your data from various fragments is going to be displayed inside this frame layout. So I'm going to just name it as fragment underscore container, and this is also fixed. Now the last part is navigation view. Here you need to be very careful because the remaining two are simple for us. This is the one which we have been creating. We have created a header, we have created the menu. So now we have to link all these things. Let's start with the first attribute, ID. Let me just give it as navigation underscore view, so that you know this is the navigation view. And inside this, I'm going to give some attributes starting with header layout. Please note there's a header layout question asked. I have a header layout. Let's just link it. Click on pick a resource, and the one which we have just created, nav underscore header. Let's just choose that and click on OK. So that part is done. After attaching the header to the navigation view, the second step would be to attach the menu to the navigation view. So let's click on the menu, which is right next to that header layout. We have menu. Let's choose and pick a resource from what we have created. We have created a menu already called drawer underscore menu in the same folder called menu. So I've just chosen that and clicked on OK. So once you do that, what we created now is now formatted according to the navigation view. How you saw in this menu is a little bit different, but when you see the same thing here, it is now formatted and it is neatly kept with individual menus. And there's a separator here called communication, which is nothing but our new item which he created with a sub menu inside it. The next important property for the navigation view would be the gravity. Please note this is a very, very important keyword with respect to navigation view. The gravity in the sense which side is it going to be pulled from. The gravity, if I put it at start, it is from left. If it is end, it is from the right. Please note this particular property sometimes does not pop up from our attributes list. So let's go to the XML part of it. So click on this line. When you come to the XML part of it, go down to the place where navigation view is written, and inside that, let's write it programmatically. Let's say Android layout underscore gravity. Please note it is not by default available there. So inside that, you write it as start. By default, it will not come, but please do add this to make sure that this is attached to the left side of the program. It's always recommended to come from left to right. So let's keep it like this. And then let's come back to the design. Now if you see that it is not visible on the screen, it should not be visible on the screen. That's the idea. You should not keep it on the screen when the program runs. Only when the user wants, he can bring it back, and then he should be able to put it back in the same place. That's why I wrote the gravity as start, the left side of the program. Now it is outside. Now how do I see it while designing? That is for that, you need to change some properties here in the drawer layout. So let's go to the drawer layout. And let's give it an ID because I might be using it programmatically. I need to find out where this layout is located. So I'm going to just name it as drawer underscore layout. So I've given an ID. Now the next two more things I'm going to give just to show that there's a small difference. So I'm going to choose a center one which says design as well as code. I'll split that into two so you can see the design and the code. So I'm just going to show the code is here and the design will be here. On top of this, the drawer layouts root element, I'm going to add some more properties. The first property what I'm going to add here is Android : fits. Okay, please search for something called fit system windows. Please say true. It should fit the system's window. That's it. That's one important property. If you want to see a preview of the navigation view, what you have dragged and dropped, which you are seeing so far, and once I put the gravity, it is not shown to you. Just call tools and then say open drawer to the start. So once you do that, it will come, and please note now you see both half of this. The screen takes up this part, and the next part is now grayed out, but it is still there. This is visible to you, and this is the navigation view. Now all I need to do is make sure that this works, because right now they are all separate components. I have not put them all together. Let's start putting them together. Let's go to the main activity.java. In this program, there is going to be part by part. I'm going to tell this is only a few lines of code here is enough to bring that entire navigation drawer working. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out the toolbar which is there in the design, because by default I removed the theme and then I made sure that I gave the toolbar. So let's instantiate that and make sure that the toolbar comes from the same namespace as your control does. Nowadays it's all Android X, so please do choose the same thing, Android X.AppCombat toolbar. Let's give the name as toolbar itself is equal to find view by ID r.id.toolbar. That's the name what we had given. Now the next thing which is there in the design is the drawer layout. So let's pull that also. So I'm going to say drawer layout. It's only one, Android X. Let me name it as drawer layout, small letters, is equal to find view by ID r.id.drawer underscore layout. So we have got both the objects and we are kept it ready. The second thing what I'm going to do is make sure that this toolbar works in all versions of Android, not just the latest versions. So I'm going to say set support action bar. Please note the actual keyword is action bar. We replaced it with the toolbar. So I'm going to say set support action bar. Within brackets, I need to pass an object of toolbar, which I already have. So I'm just going to pass this object. Done. Now the next part is the drawer layout. Now, in order for the drawer layout to work, please note this is an open and close control, and there are different ways in which I can pull this out. I'm going to use the simplest way, which I have found it easy to explain, is this. The second part, what I'm going to say, is called the action bar drawer toggle. So, which means you're fixing it on the toolbar which you have created, and there is one more compulsory thing which you need to do here is to make sure that if anybody with accessibility, how will they know that the drawer is open or closed? It has to be read out to them. So in order for that purpose, we need to make sure that there is a string added in the XML file, and this does not take double quotes string, an integer value of the resource ID of your string, which we have done during the internationalization program. So the same thing is expected here. So before I write any more further code, let me go to the strings.xml and then add two of the names. One is to open navigation drawer, the other one is to close the navigation drawer. So just to identify whether you are in open state or in closed state. Let's do that now. Right now I'm inside the strings.xml file, which is there inside resources, values, and then inside strings.xml. I'm going to create one more string here, and let me give the name as open navigation drawer, and I'll name it as nav_open. Same thing, I'm going to copy paste below, but only thing is wherever it is written as open, I'm going to just write close. With this, I've created two strings which I can refer using r.string.thisID, this name what you have given for the string. Let's go back to the code. The next step is to create a class which monitors all these things, which takes the drawer layout, which takes the toolbar, maps this entire drawer layout in that toolbar. All these things is done by one simple class called as action bar drawer toggle. Action bar drawer toggle. Please note it's a combination of all these things. In action bar, how do you toggle this? So for that, I'm just creating the object name as toggle is equal to new action bar toggle. It expects you to pass 5 parameters. So I'm not going to write it in one line. I'm going to write it in different lines. So I'll close the bracket here, and between these two brackets, I'll pass the parameters. The first parameter it asks is in which activity are you going to toggle this? So you know it's main activity, so I can directly write this one. Second thing, in which drawer layout are you going to use for this particular purpose? I'm going to just create an object. I've already had the object of drawer layout. I'll just pass it to it. The third thing is, do you have a toolbar? Yes, I have a toolbar because this is a action bar mapping. So toolbar also I have. And the remaining two things, if you notice there, it is at string resource. Look at the data type it is looking. It's int. Open drawer content description, and the second one is close drawer content description resource. So I cannot pass double quotes open, double quote close, because it's not looking for a string, it's looking for a string resource. So you can easily pass r dot string dot, we can also, we created two things, nav underscore open, that's the open description. Second one is r dot string dot nav underscore close description. With this, the parameters are done. The toggle is ready. Now, the next thing what we require is to make sure that that drawer layout listens or acts according to this toggle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the drawer layout and then say add drawer listener to this toggle. That's one line. We're just saying call the drawer layout and say add this toggle as your listener, the drawer listener, and it is done. The last thing before we close the program is to make sure that the toggle object is very much aware of in what state is your navigation drawer currently in. So for that purpose, I'm just going to write the word toggle.sync state. Synchronize with the state of your navigation drawer, whether it is open or is it closed. This is enough to get the entire program to work. Let's run this program and see how the output comes. This is the output of the program, what we had done. No content whatsoever, but if you see there is a burger menu here. This is created by your action bar toggle. So the moment I am going to try to pull something from the left hand side, please note I'm going to do it. You see that the burger menu is slightly bending, and once I pull out this, the entire navigation drawer is already open. Now the header layout what we had given and the menus what we had created all have come here. When you click outside that, it goes off. It's working. Now before I proceed to the second one, you see that this normally was in white color when I ran all other applications. Here it looks dark because by default it applies light theme, which makes your text come as dark. So let's fix that and then run it once again. In order to fix that, I'm going to the design, and let me choose the toolbar, and let's go to the theme part of your toolbar and remove that theme which is already there, and then let's search for a theme called overlay. So you'll find overlay.appcompat.dark.actionbar. Choose that, and then let's run the program once again. Now since the theme is dark, your text is come in white. So this becomes like a normal application what we've been working with so far. But we have an extra option of the navigation drawer. With this, the first part is done. Now, just the navigation drawer is not enough for us. When I click on it, something should happen. Right now, it is not going to realize which one was clicked because I've not done anything with respect to the coding part of it. So the next step would be to make sure that they listen to what we are doing. So let's do that now. Before making the program listen, I want you to notice one more thing is that when you press the back button in your phone while you are working with this app, normally it calls on destroy, because it only destroys that activity what you're working on right now. But imagine if your navigation bar is open and then you clicked on the back button. Normally, please note this is also part of your activity. So if I kill the activity, this also will be killed anyway. So what I'm saying is, if you click on the back button, I want to make sure that the drawer is not open. If it is open, if you click on the back button, I wanted to close that navigation drawer. And then next time when you click on back, I want the activity to be killed. Not if right now, if I click on back immediately, you see that the entire activity is crashed or the entire activity is closed, and when I open it again, it restarts, which means it's been destroyed, and when I open it, it's on creating once again. But actually what I'm supposed to do is, when this is open and I've clicked on the back button, I want this drawer to go away, and then next time when I click on the back button, this activity should be killed. How do I do that? Let's do that. In the program, I'm going to call an inbuilt method which gets triggered when you press the back button, which is on back pressed. There's a simple method there. This is the one which triggers the works of your on back button pressed method. So what I'm going to do is I'm writing before that is called, I'm going to write a simple if condition. And this one, the condition is if the drawer layout is open or not. In order to find out, I need the drawer layouts object. But if you see, I created the drawer layout as an local variable. So let's make it global so that it's available other places also. So I'm just going to just copy this. I'll paste it here, semicolon, and I'll cut this out in the front. So now I've created it globally, but instantiated it locally. Now it's available everywhere. So I'm just going to call here as drawer layout dot is drawer open. That's the inbuilt method which is available. I need to pass in what gravity was it open. So I'm just going to say is drawer open. I need to pass either a view or a drawer gravity. I know the gravity because I set it as start. So I just need to call gravity compat dot start. If the drawer is open in this mode, which means if you press the back button, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to close that drawer with the same gravity compat. So I'll say gravity compat dot start. What if the drawer layout was not open? What am I supposed to do? Continue with your regular work, which is super dot on back press, which means do what's supposed to happen if you click on the back button. Let's run this and check. Now the program is running. Let me open the navigation drawer and click on the back button of the phone. When I click the back button of the phone, please note the navigation drawer went. The next time I click on the back button, the activity is destroyed. But before that, when I opened the navigation drawer and clicked on the back button, the entire activity was closed because you didn't check for this condition whether it was open or not. Now, even if you're working with something, when you open the navigation drawer, if you click on the back button, it will not crash your act. Rather, it will just close your drawer first. The next step in this program must be to make sure that the items in that navigation view respond when you click on them. For that purpose, I cannot add the listener to the drawer layout because drawer layout is the whole control. In that one, navigation view is just a part. So let's create an object of the navigation view and then set the listener on it. Let's start. Let me write after this toggle. I'm going to write navigation view because that's what we dragged and dropped. Let me just name it as navigation view is equal to find view by id r.id.navigation underscore view. The next step is to call that navigation view and set navigation item selected listener. Please note the full word, set navigation item selected listener. You know how to process this. I can type either new and then press control space and get this entire thing there, but it will look more complicated. So let me just use the simpler way of attaching it to the class. So I'll just type this. After this, let this attach this listener to this class. This class is going to be a lengthy one, so I'm just going back to my normal mode just to show you the entire picture. So I'm going to just type implements on navigation item selected listener. Please note there are two of those same thing, not reselected, just two selected listeners are there. Which one should I choose? So if you see, the first one says com.google.android.material.navigation view. The second one is exactly the same name, but the package name is different. If you notice, material.bottom navigation view, but the idea is still the same. So in this one, I'm not using bottom navigation. I'll choose the first one. And once you do that, you'll have to implement its method also, which is nothing but on navigation item selected. Let me click on OK, and it is done. Now you are inside that method, which is right now perfectly mapped. Your class implements this listener, and you have asked this object to start listening to this class. And once any one of those items in that navigation view is clicked, this method will be called. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that it is not returning false, it returns true, because I'm going to do some action now. Now inside this, I'm going to put a switch case because I need to know which of the icon did you click. Normally I'll get the icon by the ID which you pass. The ID is now stored in the menu item which you clicked. So I'm just going to call that menu item object and say get item ID. And with that, a switch case is ready. Remaining is very much clear to you already. So case r.id.nav. If it is image, what am I supposed to do? I'll keep a break. I'll say case r.id.nav underscore audio. What am I supposed to do? Break. third one, r.id.nav_video. What am I supposed to do? Break. Last one, r.id.nav_share. What do you want me to do? All these are the different navigation item what we had kept in the menu. So if you click on any one of these, what do you want me to do? So if right now, to just test whether it's working or not, let me put a toast for 1 or 2, it's enough. So I'm going to say you clicked on images, just to check whether it is working or not. I can put the same thing after audio, and you can say you clicked on audio. I've just put for 2. Let's check whether it works. Now the program is running. Let me click on the navigation drawer. Drawer comes up. If I click on images, toast is there, which means it recognizes what I've done. If I click on audio, you clicked on audio. Please note that the highlighted one is changing because which of those menu item has triggered the work, and it is happening. It's been highlighted. This will not work because I've not given anything else right now. No code is written inside it. But you see, only these 3 can be selected because they are a group, and this one is separate. But it recognizes what I've done. But please note that the drawer does not go back. It still stays there. So even if I brought some data here, clicking on images, this drawer I have to manually go and click to go out. So how do I make sure that the drawer closes? I can just write, after the switch cases are done, we can just call the drawer layout and then say close the drawer. With what gravity? Same thing. Let's call gravity compact and say start. That's it. This now, irrespective of what menu you have clicked on, after you have finished the switch case, the work is done, the drawer will be closed. With this, the navigation drawer design and coding is done. Now, the next part of the video, we'll be doing those separate operations, not focusing on drawer layout, but rather we'll focus on creating different fragments and linking them on click of the navigation drawer items, and making sure that fragments, the individual 4 details, what we have called, all these things work separately, but in one activity together. We'll do that in the next video. Thank you guys.